Hi, I'm Kim from KimberlyKoehler.com, and today I have a jewelry tutorial for you. So today I am going to be showing you how to make a wire wrapped bead link. And this is actually from my class, Wire Wrapping for Beginners. And in that class I show you different jewelry components, how to make them yourself from wire. And then I give you some ideas for jewelry projects, and along with those for jewelry projects, I show you different ways of switching things up so you can reflect your own personal style and creative expression. The reason I'm showing you this kind of back to basics jewelry component, which is a wire wrapped bead link, is because I think it's so important to have skills, to kind of know all these different skills, and then you can put them together in your own way and really express yourself. I can show you how to make projects, and I have, and that is awesome, and you can learn things from them and take skills from those and do them in your own ways as well. If you just change the beads or just change like one little thing, then you are expressing yourself. But when you have kind of a skill set, a group of skills, a bunch of things you know how to make, you can really get your brain working to think about different ways you can put them together, and then really dig into designing jewelry that you're making with your own creative expression for yourself or for others, however you're doing that. But knowing the skills is kind of the first step to being able to kind of cross that threshold over into being able to really express your creativity. I mentioned Wire Wrapping for Beginners, which is my e-course, which is full of all kinds of wire wrapping techniques, different components. You can put them all together in so many different ways. It's really great to really build your skill tool set, to know all these things, to know how to make all these different small, ingredients of jewelry projects, so that you can then put them together in different recipes however you like them. So I hope you'll check out the class. The link is below the video, and you can read all about it, and also the full course curriculum is there, and it's kind of a take at your own pace, and you have access to it forever, so you can go back, watch the videos again, keep practicing, that sort of thing. Dip in and out of it if you like. You can go straight through it and learn everything, and then as you need help, you can go back and look again. And I'm always there to help you throughout the course if you have questions. So let's get started with today's tutorial, and I hope you enjoy this and it helps build your repertoire of your jewelry skills. This is how to make a wire wrapped bead link. So these are the tools and materials you need for a wire wrapped bead link. You'll need a bead, whatever bead you're planning on making into a wire wrapped bead link. You'll need a 20 gauge half hard round wire, wire cutters, round nose pliers, chain nose pliers, and you may want some bent nose pliers to help with your wrapping. So to get started, we're going to cut some wire, and we need about 3 inches longer than the bead that we are making a wire wrapped bead link with. I'm using a very small bead. It's 8 millimeters. So I'm just going to cut about 5 or so inches, just to give me a little extra room. If you're using a large bead, then you'll want to measure the bead and then add a few inches. Now I'm grabbing my round nose pliers. So I have a little tip for using round nose pliers and making your loops uniform throughout a project. Take a Sharpie and mark on your round nose pliers. And that is the mark you'll line up for all your loops, so all your loops will be the same size. The Sharpie won't stay on there forever. It will wear off, so you'll have to kind of mark it again, and it kind of doesn't matter for most of my projects anyway where exactly you make the mark, just that you use that same mark throughout the project so they're all the same. So we'll take our piece of wire about 1.5 inches from the top. We'll hold it in round nose pliers, and then you want to line up with the mark that is on your round nose pliers. And then we're going to form a loop. So you just pull toward you and around your pliers. And then you have a loop. Now you'll notice this loop is off center, so we're going to straighten it up. So I'm grabbing my chain nose pliers. You can use flat nose pliers too. Anything that's flat on the inside will work fine. Hold the loop in your pliers, and then we're going to take this short end and wrap around once. And as I do that, just pull out the longer end so it's straight, and then our loop is straight above the wire. And now I'm going to wrap 2 additional times, and this is where your bent nose pliers can come in handy. If your wire is long enough, you can just use your hands and wrap. But we're going to go around 2 more times. And now we're going to trim off the excess wire that's poking out here with our wire cutters, making a flush cut. So for most wire cutters, if you cut with the back of your pliers, your wire cutters, toward what you're cutting, it will make a flush cut, and a flush cut is just a nice flat cut. The other side makes a pinch cut. So I'm making a flush cut, making sure my wire doesn't fly off. And then I'm grabbing my chain nose pliers again, just to make sure that end is not poking out. I like to do this little kind of twist around. You can run your finger over just to make sure. Now, if your wraps aren't close together, when you're wrapping, you want to make sure they're nice and close and tight. You can take your pliers and sort of pinch them together so that they're all nice and close together. So that's a wire wrapped loop. So now we're going to make a bead link. So we're going to put a bead on. And we're going to repeat what we just did, but on the other side. So leave about 1/4 inch between the bead and where you're holding the wire with your pliers. Lining up again with the line on your round nose pliers. And we're doing the same thing, bending the wire around the pliers, kind of in between the bead and the pliers, forming a loop. And again, that loop is off center, so I'm holding the loop in my chain nose pliers and wrapping around once and pulling out the bead straight while I wrap around. And then I'm going to switch hands, grab my bent nose pliers, and do 2 more reps. Now I'm grabbing my wire cutters again and trimming off the excess, making a flush cut. And grabbing my chain nose pliers and making sure that end is not poking out. And so that's a wire wrapped bead link, and you can use this in all sorts of different jewelry projects. It's kind of a basic component that you'll use again and again to make all kinds of jewelry. So I hope you found that tutorial to be useful and inspiring. I hope you're thinking of ideas that you can use this in your own jewelry making. And next week, I will be sharing a project that we will be using that wire wrapped bead link to make a full jewelry piece. So make sure you tune in next week for that. And to make sure you get the video, you might want to join my email newsletter so I can just send it right to your inbox. You don't have to remember. Plus, if you would like, you can get my quick start guide to wire wrap jewelry, where I take you through 10 days of lessons to help you get ready to make wire wrap jewelry. I go through all sorts of things and you'll make a project by the end. Then you'll be totally prepared for the class Wire Wrapping for Beginners, which is my wire wrapping class, which I told you about at the beginning of the video, and it's just great. It has all kinds of different wire wrapping components, and I teach you how to put them together to make your own jewelry. So you can check out the links below this video to sign up for my newsletter and to check out the class. I hope you have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you next week with a new video.